Hi there. In today's video we're going to discuss how our body types influence our golf swing and what options we have so that we can find a swing style that fits our body better than just trying to fit everybody into one mold. We're going to find that everybody's body is unique and their unique body type is going to influence their golf swing in a certain way when they swing their best or when they have their most efficient swing. Of course, I can try to swing in a manner that doesn't fit my body. It's not going to be very efficient, it's going to be a lot of work, and it's going to be hard to repeat that in a very consistent manner. So we want to understand what sort of options we have so that we can find a swing that fits our body in a more natural way. There's three distinct categories I look at when I'm trying to figure out what type of swing style fits the individual's body. The first category is what I call anchoring. Anchoring is understanding that you have a pivot point in your hip girdle that works best for you. Some players rotate best around their left hip joint, some players rotate best around their right hip joint, and some players rotate best around their center of gravity. There are tests we have for figuring out how to stay the most anchored in your swing and which anchor fits you the best. I have another video that covers that in particular, so I'm not going to talk about that one today, but we still want to understand that if you're going to learn to swing in your best way, the way that fits your body the best, you're going to have to find out what pivot point in your hip girdle works best for you. And you want to understand some players rotate around their right hip joint, some players rotate around their left hip joint, and some players rotate around their center of gravity. Okay? In today's video, I'm more concerned with talking about what I call your swing track, number one, and then number two, what type of arm swing do you have? Okay, let's discuss the swing track first. There's three basic swing tracks that golfers swing on, and these relate to where the elbows swing in the golf swing. Do the elbows stay very low in the golf swing? Are they more in a middle position or neutral position? Or do they swing in a high position? So low track players, for example, swing in a way where their elbows actually stay very low. They feel like they swing around their torso in the backswing. Low track players will tend to have a very flat backswing in the sense that their left arm that's going to stay below their right shoulder at the top of the backswing. So if I stay in a low track backswing, I'm going to have a very low arm swing or a very flat arm swing. That doesn't mean that the shaft will swing flat. As a matter of fact, a lot of low track players have a very vertical shaft as they go back into their backswing. It's just that their arms stay very low. Okay, that's a very difficult one for me to demonstrate. I'm actually a mid-track player, which I'm going to demonstrate next. So I find that when I try to swing low track, it feels very uncomfortable for me. But a lot of golfers like Peter Lonard, for example, and Paul Azinger are very good low track golfers. Okay, Chad Campbell's another good low track golfer. Okay, the next one's what I call mid-track. Mid-track is when your elbows are allowed to elevate slightly into a position where the left arm will swing right through the right shoulder at the top of the backswing. Okay, so I haven't lifted my elbows, but I'm not trying to keep my elbows lower and tight to my body either. I'm allowing my elbows to elevate naturally as I go back, and when I do that, my left arm swings right through my right shoulder at the top of the backswing. So again, that's what I call a mid-track path. Okay, now high track golfers are the golfers that have that sense of a high hands in the backswing, high hands in the finish type golf swing. They have a lot of lift in their swing. We see this typically in taller golfers. That Tom Weiskopf was a classic example of a high track swinger when he was in his prime. So these golfers, as they go back, they actually lift their hands in club up. And at the top of the backswing, their hands are either directly above the right shoulder, which puts their arm in between the right shoulder and their ear. So you'll see their hands somewhere between their ear and their right shoulder, vertically above that, which throws their left arm on a plane or on a path that is much more vertical than their shoulders are. Okay, so if you think of these three types of swings, the low track players have their left arm actually flatter than their right shoulder. The mid track players have their left arm right through their right shoulder, and the high track players have their left arm more vertical than their shoulders. And so those are the three basic tracks that we see golfers swing on. And whether you can do one or the other more efficiently has to do with your body type. So you really do want to find out which track you swing on the most naturally, which track fits your body the most naturally, because you'll find that it's going to allow you to swing in the most efficient and repeatable manner. Okay? So the next thing we want to do is we want to talk about the arm swing. What type of arm swing do you have? All right. There's three basic ways that your right arm can swing if you're a right-handed golfer swinging from the right-hander's side. Your right arm can swing what I call side on, which is this way. The palm of the right hand and the inside of the forearm swing side to side. Okay. The next option is they can swing underneath. I can have the feeling that the forearm and the palm are facing more up and out. That's an underneath action. Or they can swing more on top. Okay. So when the palm is facing down and the forearm faces more down, that's more of an on top type of swing. When the palm is facing inward and the forearm is facing inward or to the side, that's a side to side or side on swing, as I like to call it. Okay. And when the palm faces more up and the forearm faces more up, that's more of an under swing. You can kind of think of it this way: if you hold the forearms towards each other, it feels very side to side, side on. Okay. If you put it where the forearms are facing up, you feel like you're going to get underneath something and try to hold something from the underneath position, so that's an under action. If you put your palms down and your forearms facing down, that's more of an on top position where you could actually push down on something and actually feel like you're on top of it. Okay? So you have to find out, based upon how your wrist works, how your forearm works, how all those tendons and muscle and bones work together, which way does your arm swing most naturally? Does it swing side to side or side on? Does it swing in a more on top manner, or does it swing in a more under? I'm mainly an under player. The most natural motion for me is to get the feeling that it sets underneath and it returns underneath. And because of that, I tend to have fairly high ball flight. I also play a fade naturally because when I swing under, the club face tends to be slightly open, so that fits me very well. Again, from this angle, it would look this way. That club goes back a little bit more under. It sets in this manner. When I come back forward, my forearm is facing more up, my palm is facing more out. That's much more of an under action, and that one fits me better. If I was a side-on player, I'd feel like I would be in a posture where that right arm could swing more around me. Again, you notice as an under player, it goes more under to begin with and up through my right shoulder. As a side-on player, it would go more around in this direction. It will return more around as I come through, and then I would extend and release up to my finish more if I was a side-on player. If I'm an on-top player, I feel much more palm down in my swing. I feel like that club head is actually going up a little bit, but it's facing down and the palm is facing down. And when I come forward in my swing, I feel my arm extends more downward, staying on top. My body comes more up as I stay on top. Okay, now all three arm actions produce wonderful ball flight if it fits the individual. You would think if you were more of an on-top player that your ball flight would be very low. But interestingly enough, the players that I train that feel like they're more on top, they have much more of a up and down verticalness in their golf swing, and because they're extending more downward in their swing, their ball flight tends to jump more up to a traditional type of ball flight. The side-on golfers, even though they're going more around, they have just enough posting up in their left side that their extension actually tends to go slightly downward, not as vertical as the on-top players, but also that gives them a very vertical type of ball flight. The under players can get that ball up in the air so easily and get it so vertical that they actually feel like as they come through, they need to extend more out in front of themselves. And so you'll find out if you are an under player, you'll have much more of an outward extension. Okay? If you are on top player, you'll have much more of a vertical type of extension as you come down and through. If you are a side-on player, you'll find that you'll have more of a neutral extension. Sort of the extension matches the left leg as I come through. As I post up on that left leg, that extension will match it. So again, it doesn't really matter which one of those arm swings you end up using. If it fits you the best, you'll find out you're going to get wonderful trajectory with that arm action.